We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Hey everybody, Eric Bischoff here, and you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent. Stay tuned, listen to the podcast. Best one, Donnie, might teach you a thing or two.
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide? Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling Podcast.
If you ain't listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast, bro, you're missing out. The king listens, and you need to too, bro.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling himself, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, We Are Wrestling Maniacs? Ben here, Uncle Ben, America's favorite uncle, and wrestling's punching bag. Back at it again with the best one for another stacked episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast. And we got a huge killer stack show that we're really excited to shoot the shit about. But before we get into all this fine details, Don, take it away, my friend.
That's right. Just like my house right now, it is hot because we're dealing with a heat wave. This week's episode is also pretty hot as well. I think we have some really interesting recaps to talk about. We have some interesting news to talk about, and we're going to get into all that. But before we do that, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this podcast wherever you get your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. Give us a follow as well. But if you're watching this over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real.
Let's get ready to rumble!
So, Ben, do you want to share your little new toy you got?
I got myself a little
fans?
I got myself a little interface, and I'm going to be sending the link to you to grab one yourself. It was only like $30. One of my subscribers on my channel paid for it, and it is a really cool thing. It's got a bunch of effects, got some beats we can play, and it's going to add to the show. So when Don gets it, expect some greatness and a little oomph onto our show here.
$30?
$30, SpongeBob. Yeah, $30.
You're definitely gonna have to send me that link
$30
as soon as possible,
and
because your mic sounds so good.
You have Amazon Prime, right?
I am a Prime member.
And if you're a Prime member, you want to know something great about this package? I got it delivered to my fucking door at 4:30 in the morning while I was sound the fuck asleep. So when I woke my eyes up first thing, I just had to walk outside and set it up.
Felt like Christmas morning.
Yep, you can get overnight shipping and have it directly shipped to your door between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. So you could possibly have it and bring it inside before you even have to leave for work.
That is pretty awesome.
It's
I'd be doing that a lot
deal
with Amazon Prime. Like, whenever I need something that's like urgent, I'll go on there and I'll just put an order. It'll come right 4 o'clock in the morning, right before I go into my shoot job.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Yeah,
Very
so
convenient.
$30. 30 fucking
Ben,
bucks. And you have an XLR, so you're good.
Yes, sir. So, how's your week been?
Personal week has been a challenge. Like, luckily it's been taken care of, but our alternator just went on our only family car that we have. And as you guys know, replacing an alternator, depending on where you live and how good and honest your shops that you go are, it is fucking expensive. And it was a big payment that Ash could not do on her own. And I was not going to make her do it on her own. but with the support of a lot of the people that are subscribed right onto Rage Circus, they have been absolutely phenomenal with me. I've been doing live reactions on Twitch, and they've donated big amounts just to go towards the car. And because of that, the car is going to be pretty much paid off soon out of, not knowing how we were going to do it in the first place. So where it was very stressful, it did have a nice ending. So I will say that my week has been life, but we're still dancing in the rain, homie. How was your week?
My week has been pretty good. I enjoyed our weekend last weekend with WWE Money in the Bank, even though the PLE was mid.
No, it wasn't mid. It was bullshit, but we'll get there.
It was a great time, though. Always hanging out with you, always hanging out with the boys, just catching up, having a great time. And
Shout out to Ricky Knows Best.
Shout out to Ricky Knows Best with his Daffy Duck impression during the live watch along, which we do want to thank all you guys for joining us on that stream.
I just want to give Ricky the fucking shout out too, because guys, I don't think you will ever see Ricky the way that we saw him once the cameras were off. Ricky came out of his shell, and I need to give my boy the props. So guys, props to fucking Ricky Knows Best. That dude is fucking, he's low-key goated, and he needs to let himself shine a little more. But anyways.
And he needs to get that set up too, as soon as possible.
Yeah, Ricky.
But it was a great time, and obviously last week I had my shoot job. I was off the entire week, got to catch up on a lot of things. So this week, going back into my shoot job, it was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, because I did a lot of catching up with my real life and also content creating as well. And this week I've been going to a lot of Walmarts because there's this SummerSlam display that's been coming out with new wrestling figures. And you guys all know, if you check out the Best One Donnie channel or the new Instagram that I have at Best One Toys, I am a huge wrestling figure collector, and I have been waiting for these shippers to come out. And believe it or not, it was funny. We did a We Are Wrestling extra yesterday as we're recording this for John Cena, which if you guys haven't checked it out, it is up on the YouTube channel. But I will say this, before we started recording, I got a notification from Creepy Cam, and he told me that there was a Walmart in our area, which was about like 35 minutes away, that had the shipper, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to miss out on the entire, I knew I was going to find maybe like one or two of them, but I knew I wasn't getting all four because we had to do that extra, because you already know the grind is real. But good news is, earlier this morning, I had to do some deliveries for my shoot job, and I stopped at a Walmart, and guess what, Ben?
You found them.
I didn't just find them. Nobody touched it. I was the very first person. So I grabbed the chases. I grabbed the regulars. So we have the Monday Night War Series 3 completed. Now I just need to get 2 more Series 2.
Dog, how much did you spend on them?
$100. Well, I think it was like $120.
How many?
It was 6 figures.
Oh, 6? Not bad. Okay, not bad. Not bad.
So
especially
not bad at all. $20 a figure,
and
including chases.
Chases are pretty, are they the more like rare ones, or is it the elites or the?
Yep.
ultimate?
So the chases are more rare than the commons. So
good for you.
In this series for the first time with the Monday Night Wars, they actually did do chases, which were Harlem Heat, Stevie Ray and Booker T, and the regular figures had the black gear, but the chases had the blue. And immediately I snagged them, and then Cam wanted one, so I grabbed one for him. And yes, it's been a great fucking day.
What time did you pull up to that Walmart? Because I know Ware is like almost 40 minutes away, but like, what time did you go there?
So I went there around I want to say 8:30, 9 o'clock, because I was doing a lot of deliveries out in the Palmer area. So they had me go to Palmer, Ware, and then it was right there on the way back to the shop. So I fucking stopped in there, and we got lucky.
Okay, so where you were definitely going out farther, at least you had a peaceful delivery process, because Ware and Palmer are both just, I wouldn't say ghost towns, but it's definitely more town related. You're not going to be in industrial or like metropolis fucking cities where there's heavy traffic areas. Like you're not the most busy fucking place in Palmer is Big Y, and it's not even that fucking busy. So like you must have had a chill fucking
It was great.
cruise day.
I love whenever like at my shoot job, they need me to do deliveries because I am like a counter associate. I work at a plumbing supply shop, so I deal with the assholes. And when they tell me you can go on the road to do a delivery, I immediately say, okay, let me get the
Jump
boxes.
on
Let's
that.
go. Let me get the pipe. Let's go.
Stop, grab some food, grab yourself a fucking, give yourself a little hey, and then just go on the drive and fucking make some deliveries. Stop at your local Walmart, grab yourself a Chase or 6.
My dad does listen to the podcast. I don't do the hey, just
you don't.
had to put that out there. Disclaimer. I am not smoking on the job.
DJ, I swear to God, he does not smoke on the job. That was just me being an asshole. I promise. I'm not trying to get this boy in trouble.
Papa Styles, it's all good.
But no, like at least you get to like get yourself some food. Fucking sip some fucking soda. Throw the shades on, turn the music up, you make your deliveries, stop again at your local Walmarts, grab your Chases. So I can understand how nice the day must have been, especially it may have been hot, but you had the windows down. So
the AC, man. Like, yeah, the AC in the car.
That's the window, bro. AC.
That's perfect. Keep those windows up. But I do want to put a reminder out to the We Are Wrestling Maniacs. If you want to join our live watch-alongs, we have 2 upcoming ones. On Saturday, August 3rd, we'll be live for WWE SummerSlam, the biggest blockbuster of the summer. It's going to be one of our best streams of the summer. And AEW All In, I'll be live Saturday, August 25th. So if you are looking for somebody to watch these pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever you want to call it, we're going to be live here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel.
You said All In?
For All In and WWE SummerSlam.
Wembley, right?
Wembley Stadium, yes, sir.
Has there been any matches on the card added yet?
So right now, the 2 matches that are 100% confirmed as of last night on AEW Dynamite, which was July 10th, the 2 matches are confirmed because the finals of the Owen Hart Cup happened in Calgary during Dynamite tapings, and Bryan Danielson defeated Hangman Adam Page. So it'll be Bryan Danielson versus Swerve for the AEW World Championship. And for the women's world title, Toni Storm will be defending her title against Mariah May, which I know we'll be talking about in the recaps.
Gotcha.
But every week, we do this thing called the Power of the Poll. And all you got to do to be a part of this is go to the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel in our community tab, which I got to say, the support that we've gotten from the We Are Wrestling Maniacs with this segment has been incredible. With SummerSlam being such a busy weekend, or Money in the Bank, I meant, being a very busy weekend, I forgot about the power of the poll until probably a couple days ago, and we still got over 500 votes on this one, and we get to talk about it. And this is one of our We Are Wrestling weekly recaps, and probably your highlight of the week, my highlight of the week. So we might as well start off with this. So, we asked the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, if you were in Dirty Dom's shoes right now, who are you choosing?
Mommy.
Are you picking Liv Morgan? Or are you picking Mommy Rhea Ripley?
Mommy.
And here are the results. Drum roll, please.
Fucking,
There it is. There's the results. Mommy wins by a landslide. 63% of you guys think that Mommy is who Dom should be going after. 37% of you guys think it should be Liv Morgan. Oh, man. So we might as well get into this.
No, we know that 37% was all of Alex Johnson's YouTube channels. We know it. We know it. It would have been 100.
All the burner accounts. All his burner accounts. So in case you've been hiding under a rock and you haven't been paying attention to what happened in the pro wrestling world, this past Monday on Raw, we did see the return of Mommy Rhea Ripley. Great cliffhanger, by the way. Ben, what's your thoughts on her coming back? Do you think it's too soon or perfect timing?
Oh, it's perfect timing because now we have a proper. I would have liked more time, but for what it's worth, we have a proper timeline to build for SummerSlam with her and Liv Morgan, which inevitably we'll get there when we do the predictions for it. But yeah, dude, I'm fucking stoked. I'm so stoked. The moment her fucking music kicked in, dude, I fucking marked out. Yeah, dude, no, I'm stoked. There is no too soon for mommy to ever come home. All right, let's get that out there real quick. Ain't ever too soon. Like I've been preaching for the last 6 months. I got 3 pictures on this fucking thing. 3. One's my daughter, one's my gal, and one's fucking Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, 100% is welcome home anytime. No, it wasn't too soon. If anything, it was perfect because at least we have a proper build.
Honestly, I think it's perfect timing because over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, I do reactions to the weekly shows, and I've been saying it for the last couple of Mondays. When are we going to hear from Rhea Ripley? Because they have been trying to drag this Dirty Dom and Liv storyline on, which I'm not going to lie, it's been super entertaining. I've been really enjoying everything that they've done so far with Liv and Finn, Liv and Dirty Dom, Carlito being involved. Like at first, I hated Carlito in the Judgment Day, but now he has grown so much on me with like his little role, and it's been great.
And
I think Dirty Dom, it makes it very interesting having Liv get involved here because she already said she wants to take everything that Rhea loves away. And by having her in the Judgment Day trying to, pretty much put some cracks in there, I think it's been great. And the stuff that her and Dirty Dom have done, it's getting buzz all over social media.
What if Carlito is Damien's replacement and Liv is Rhea's and Dom stays in Judgment Day with Liv? And that's the new Judgment Day. And both Rhea and Damien both leave because they're both baby faces. Especially Rhea is officially a babyface on the WWE site upon her return.
If they're going to do that, they definitely have to pick the right timing because I want Finn to turn on Damien.
And he's going to. And they've been teasing it for fucking weeks now. I thought we were going to pull the trigger at fucking Money in the Bank, but that was a shit show, and we're definitely going to talk about it. But no, it is going to happen, and I think that it is. I think we're building towards both, and I think it's working, and I think we might have the script here.
All right, so the question for this power of the poll was, if you were in Dirty Dom's shoes right now, who are you choosing? Obviously, you're picking Mommy.
Yep.
I'm picking Liv Morgan, and here's why. Before you slander me, can I give my reason here without being interrupted?
I got you.
Obviously, I'm going to pick Mommy over Liv any day, but the question was if you were in Dirty Dom's shoes. And Dirty Dom has been a pretty bad boy. So if I were Dirty Dom, I would just say, yeah, you fucked up and you have no chance of getting Mommy back. So I would just be trying to just go after Liv because at the end of the day, you're not alone.
He said,
so
it's better to betray than to be alone.
I was in Dirty Dom's shoes and I had to pick, due to the consequences that he did, I'd pick Liv. But if Dirty Dom never did any of this stuff with Liv and pretty much made himself look really bad on WWE Monday Night Raw, obviously I'm going Mommy. But in this situation, I'm going Liv because I don't want to lose both.
So all I'm going to tell you for why I'm picking Rhea Ripley, because it's Rhea fucking Ripley. And if I was in Dom's situation, since that was the question, if I was in Dom's situation, Liv would have went through a fucking table through a frog splash by now. Fucking yesterday. All right. So yeah,
Live on fire.
Liv's on fire.
Barbed wire.
It's on behalf of Rhea fucking Ripley. Why is he thinking about it? Why is he thinking about it in general? So no, if I was in Dom's shoes, no, I wouldn't be that fucking dumb. No. I'm in love with Rhea Ripley.
You know what would have been an awesome segment?
Who? What?
For Dirty Dom, Liv, and Rhea? If we got them on the Maury show or Jerry Springer.
Well, Springer unfortunately passed away, but we could.
I know, that's why I'm saying that would have been a great thing if Jerry Springer was still alive. Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil would be a good one.
Steve Wilkos would be a good one too, because at least he's a big dude and has actually seen some kind of fucking combat. So I mean, I'd be for fucking. I'd be.
But I must say though, my last thing I'm gonna say about this is I think it's perfect timing that Rhea comes back now because SummerSlam is obviously the biggest blockbuster of the summer, and having her and Liv Morgan for the Women's World Championship on that card is great because Liv Morgan's title run has been a little lackluster. She finally just defended it against Zelina not that long ago. But I think having Rhea in there is going to make the championship even more prestigious. And obviously, we're all interested in this whole angle that's going on. And I think this is going to have a really big payoff. I don't think it's going to be a one-off. I definitely don't think so.
God, no. I think
Hell in the Cell. Bad blood.
I'm saying this right now. They're not going to be that predictable WWE, and shame on it winning it right off the bat. SummerSlam is going to be Liv's moment, but we'll get there when we get there and like to the predictions. But
I am not getting my hopes up on that. Not yet.
But it's not gonna be a one-off.
Yeah. So with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling podcast episode 116.
God, fuck, already?
Already.
Wow.
Starting things off at WWE Money in the Bank, we saw Tiffany Stratton and Drew McIntyre win the Money in the Bank ladder match, which pretty much solidifies that they can get a shot anytime, any place. Well, Drew can't anymore because he fucked up. What's your thoughts on the winners of the Money in the Bank ladder match?
I'm gonna just get the men's out of the way because it's quick. It was I wouldn't consider it wasted. I would say that it furthered the story and the feud. I mean, would it have been nice to have a men's thing? Yeah, but I would have rathered it go down the way it went down than have someone carrying it for nonsense when we know that the Money in the Bank winner from the men's would not be cashing in successfully, and they don't also want to have somebody carrying it for almost a fucking year again. So I can understand furthering the story for Seth and for CM Punk or Drew and CM Punk.
True.
So it's like, I get that. You know, there was literally no sense in putting it in Carmelo Hayes because he's not fucking ready. He's not ready to be a world champion. Jay is, but Jay's going on another story, so it doesn't make sense for him. LA Knight, he was in there to say that he qualified and he was in the match, so that's building his accolades.
Should have had Logan involved.
Yes, that's the only mistake that I'll give, is that Logan should have been involved. And then, again, Seth Rollins, you know, or whoever the fuck else. Chad Gable. He's on another story as well. He's an intercontinental title fucking story, regardless of whatever it is or how far the distance is. He's a part of it still. So the only logical winner was Drew. So I'm not mad at that. Boom, just furthers the story.
They kind of should have thrown more heavy hitters in that match, thinking about it now. Like, it seemed like now, like looking back at it, like it just seems so obvious that we thought it was going to be Jay.
Yeah.
But Drew being in there, like, it just makes so much sense that like it would be him that wins. Like, it pains me to say this. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. And I'm going to, I think Punk interfering the Money in the Bank one is all right. But I didn't like the whole referee thing. That made no sense whatsoever to me. I thought that was just poor booking on that part. But I think with Drew, it is what it is. That's probably why they opened off the show, because they really just didn't have anything for it. And it did further the storyline technically. And I can't wait for CM Punk versus McIntyre to happen, because I'm ready for Seth versus Punk at this point. Monday Night Raw, they were teasing that.
Oh, absolutely.
So I kind of want McIntyre and Punk to just get this storyline over with, because I'm ready for Rollins and Punk. But now getting into Tiffany Stratton, what's your thoughts on her winning?
I mean, they've been putting a rocket ship on her since she showed up on main roster. So, I mean, I'm not surprised at the outcome. She's hella over with the crowd. She's a great in-ring performer. I think her character work is dumb. I think that she's kind of cringe on the mic, but there's no denying that she's a phenomenal performer, and she fits the average criteria of what they're looking for in a champion. She is. I'm not going to deny that. I wouldn't say it's too soon either because she can go in the ring and she has the people behind her clearly. And obviously, if you're putting a rocket ship on someone from the get-go, you've been putting them in all these marquee matches over the last, she's been on main roster for almost a year now. So it's
I think she got called up beginning of 2024.
Okay, so, almost a year now. We're a little over the halfway point, so about half a year. And you've put her in every single, major event, in every single PLE, basically, she's been on, minus, Clash of the Castle, the minor things that are, for, the main focal points. She's basically...
She hasn't really felt, out of place either in those matches.
No, she had a scary moment. She had a scary moment socially and almost got canceled. But, I mean, other than that, she fits the bill. I mean, she's doing great. So I'm not surprised to see it. I think out of anybody that was in that match, it made the most sense putting it on her because there is also a lot more you can do with her going further storyline in the future. The men's was very, very tight this year. There's so much going on in the men's storylines that there wasn't a clear-cut winner for them to carry it. Tiff, she's going to be getting it decked out. She's going to have this for a while. She's going to have this case. I'm going to say between 3 to 6 months she's going to have it for because she's already she's going on a tour with it.
She's going to cash in by the end of the year, I think.
By the end of the year, maybe Royal Rumble fucking latest. Latest.
I think
Royal
Survivor
Rumble.
Series around that time.
Precisely. So it's I see her carrying it for a while and making it prestigious. And the women's spot is going to have the big holy shit moment when it comes time to change hands. I think that it was a smart deal. And I think that they bet on the right person. It was botch city in that match not from her necessarily, but it was.
I think the women's Money in the Bank was less botched than the men's. The men's Money in the Bank was dog shit compared to the women's.
Story-wise, it was dog shit. The men's professionally as a match was put together way more.
I disagree.
The women's, I saw a couple people in there that could probably spend some more time in the Performance Center. So I just there's
Zoe Starks.
Yep, smacking her fucking head off the ladder. Dude, how that girl needed to be at least a foot out from where she was. I get her little flip thing is very interactive, but not that fucking close. She nailed her fucking head off the ladder. I'm boom, boom. That just I
will say the men's, I think the reason why I enjoyed the women's one a lot more than the men's is because for the men, it was just a normal match. There really wasn't any crazy spots that happened during that
because of the finish.
But the women's, on the other hand, the Chelsea spot, I think really added a lot to that match. And Chelsea looked really good out of this match.
Chelsea needs to split from fucking Piper Niven. They both need to have a fucking big feud. They need a fucking mid-card title for the women on the main roster, and Chelsea Green needs to be the inaugural champion. Why aren't we doing this?
I agree.
Why aren't we doing this?
She would be a perfect mid-card champion. And I believe I was saying this during the main event of Monday Night Raw. I even think Zelina Vega. She could be a great mid-card champion. There's so many... there's so many talented women that I feel they could benefit having a mid-card title. Because let's be honest, this year, Triple H, I think, has done a great job with the women tag belts.
Mm-hmm.
Having them on TV consistently, and even the PLEs. Some can even argue that the women tag titles right now are more prestigious than the men tag belts.
They are.
And a lot of that has to do with Bianca and Jade Cargill. Want to give them their flowers.
I take back what I said about Chelsea. I think that she would be a phenomenal mid-card title holder, but honestly,
eventually she needs a world title.
I think Zelina needs to be the inaugural fucking mid-card title winner, and because I think that fucking Chelsea Green should have been a fucking women's world champion already. Chelsea Green is fucking great, bro. You can take the silly shit off of her and put her back to serious, bro. She would have a dominant reign as a women's world champion. I think she's too big for a mid-card title, so I have to take it back. But we can get
no, man. That's the thing. I feel right now she's picking up a lot of momentum, and I won't be surprised if maybe Royal Rumble time she could be a dark horse winner and maybe go on to WrestleMania, get that moment, take the title from Tiffany. Could happen. Because she is getting that babyface pop too. So anything can happen. And right now she's picking up momentum. So hopefully the wagon wheels stay on. But Tiffany, I got to say, definitely the right winner. She's picked up a lot of momentum since getting called up to the main roster. She doesn't feel out of place in any of these matches. She got a massive reaction for the Elimination Chamber, really outperformed almost all the women in that match. And Money in the Bank, I think, was a perfect opportunity. And with her alliance with Nia Jax right now, I could see down the line, if Nia does beat Bayley for the championship at SummerSlam, potentially Tiffany could cash in eventually on Nia Jax and take the championship. But I think this was definitely the right call. And out of all the matches, rewatching the show, the women's Money in the Bank was probably my favorite.
I didn't even
Except for
bother
those Zoe
rewatching.
Stark botches.
I didn't even bother rewatching because I was so fucking upset. I was so upset.
I understand your pain, Ben. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly recap at NXT Heatwave, which I do want to say, by the way, was a lot better than WWE Money in the Bank. All Ego Ethan Page won the NXT Championship in a fatal 4-way match. Ethan Page has only been a part of NXT for 6 weeks. Is it too soon for him to win the world title?
Nope. And I know where this is going to go. And people are pissed off about the backlash about Mercedes Moné winning the fucking TBS championship. Well, here's the difference. It's called fucking talent. It's called fucking talent, and it's called fucking drawing people. I'm sorry, but we're back to it. That's literally what it comes down to. That's literally what it comes down to.
I'm sorry, but if I'm calling AEW out on the bullshit, and you know I'm a huge fan of Mercedes, and I even said it was bullshit for her to get a title shot during her first match coming back. I will say, though, Ethan Page, he got his first match was for the NXT Championship against Trick. And they did make it make sense in the storyline, so I do give WWE credit where it's due for there, even though I still am a firm believer that you need to earn your title shots, even though they did make it make sense. And Trick did beat him, which I think was a good move. And then this fatal 4-way, I think if Ethan got a clean win, maybe I would be more mad about it, but I'm really not pissed.
They made it accidental.
It was an accidental win, which we don't get a lot with finishes in pro wrestling nowadays.
So fucking organic too. Fucking gotta move on. He just fucking fell on homeboy and won.
Do you know where he got that from? That finish?
It was a very classic finish, but I'm having a hard time putting on where it came from exactly.
I can tell you right now exactly. It was Limitless Wrestling. There's a fatal 4-way match, and they did the finish with MJF when he became the first champion over there.
So it was a nice little nod off to MJF. I love that. Yep. Now, here's where I'm going to end my reasoning as to why I think that it is a lot more deserved than Mercedes. At least with Ethan Page, all ego is just his fucking gimmick. He didn't disrespect anybody on the way out of any fucking company, and he definitely didn't burn any fucking kind of respect that he had from his audience, and didn't turn himself into a wannabe Rock.
No comment.
And
we've already
everybody that has ever talked about him on a podcast have nothing but good things to say. There are so many legends that are currently bitching about Mercedes Moné. I said what I said. Mic drop. We can move on.
So I'm not going to argue the whole Mercedes Moné thing because she is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time in the women's wrestling. Like, I'm a big fan of her work, so I'm not going to disrespect her here. I'm not going to go back and forth. Hey, you are totally valid to your opinion.
Things that I'm not shading. Like, I'm not genuinely just trying to take rips. I'm just trying to give you my actual thoughts and what I'm seeing everywhere, not what I'm just seeing.
Right now you are. Right now you're not throwing jibs. The first thing you said, what was it? You said
the only difference
she's not talent. She's talentless. That's throwing a jab.
But you see, though, I'm not the only person that sees.
You're not the only person.
Things.
You're not the only person. I will say that. But I'm going to leave it as this. I think Ethan Page winning the championship in 6 weeks, yes, it's a little too soon, but I'm okay with it because his run right now in NXT has been very organic. And with him having the accidental win, that helps. Also, him trying to like pull this big free agency move during his NXT contract negotiations, pretty much telling Ava and Sean that my first match needs to be for the NXT Championship. It's a part of the character. It's a part of the gimmick, which is why it works. Mercedes Moné, on the other hand, as much as I love Mercedes, she didn't really do anything outside of WWE, or she never even wrestled a match in AEW to really earn that title shot. If it was like an open challenge, it could have been something else, but I got to call the bullshit out when I see it.
I have an educational question.
Yeah.
Now, when he won that title, obviously on social media, like right after we saw Joe Hendry, and then he ended up coming out and tagging with Trick Williams.
Yep.
Do you think that may have been intentional in part of the orchestrational tool that is why he won the title? Do they have any kind of history? Do you think that Ethan Page is just the best person to work with Joe Hendry in a title picture that would actually bring the draw? Do you think that may had something to do with it, along with Trick Williams being called up?
Well, I have been following both of their careers a lot, Ethan Page and Joe Hendry, going all the way back before going to being signed by Impact Wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
I think they only did that to create a lot of buzz because with NXT, if you notice what they're doing, and it's fucking brilliant, they're doing things that are going viral. They're getting people talking on social media. Having Wesley and the Rascals, which we'll be getting into pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like, they have done a great job getting people talking. And I think having just that little thing of Joe Hendry at the end, everybody's talking about it. And I think you might as well, if Ethan Page, you're building him up as this top arrogant fucking heel, you might as well put him in there against the top baby
both
face.
super over. They're both super fucking over. So do you think that may have been like a thing to why Ethan Page won the title, especially with Trick being called up super soon?
Yes, because they're not going to want to have Trick versus Joe. I think they've seen how fast Joe's grown because when he made his first debut in NXT, I think he was only at 60,000 followers on Instagram. And now, since that first debut, he has gone viral. I think he's at almost 200,000 right now.
That's fucking wild. That's
Which,
what I'm
shout
saying.
out to Old School Phil too on getting followed by Joe Hendry on Instagram.
Joe Hendry followed him. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, because him and his daughter, they did a little dance in the car to Joe Hendry's song, and Joe Hendry followed them.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. That's awesome. All right, that's all I wanted to know because I was like, that could honestly be very much so be the whole like thing as to why they did it too. And Ethan Page has been again over as fuck no matter where he's gone. The dude is like just naturally charismatic, and a angle between him and Joe Hendry would be fucking amazing. So I feel like out of anything, it just made the most sense.
So there's one more thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave it as this before we move on to our next topic.
Okay.
And I might get a little bit of heat for this one, but I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to say it right here, right now.
Oh, shit.
Ethan Page in NXT during his run right now, it reminds me of a 2003 Randy Orton with his arrogance.
Is Ethan Page really the next Randy Orton? Did we find the next Orton?
I think so.
Because like it makes sense.
He's got that 2003 arrogance to him.
Dog, I'll bite. I'll bite. I'm biting right now, dog. Like you got my full undivided attention. I think
I don't know, when I'm watching these promos, like it just reminds me of like a young Orton during Evolution.
The way he's dressed, yeah. Like
exactly, man. It's the way like he presents himself too. And like when he gets it, like he also can get aggressive at times, but also still be arrogant, all ego.
And he
it's
has,
just the way
and
he delivers promos. Like he like I see the potential there.
Wow, you might be onto something, man. You might actually have something here, because like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just like, has everything I've known just been a lie?
Speaking of TNA and NXT, moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly recap. This past Tuesday on NXT, we saw Wes Lee reunite with his two best friends, Trey Mitchell and Zachary Wentz. the Rascals from TNA. What were your thoughts on the segment?
So I'm not super familiar with the Rascals. I think back in probably towards the beginning of when we started doing the podcast and everything, when I was like kind of learning a lot of like more history of like AEW, where some of these people pop in and out. You guys mentioned the Rascals a lot, like you and Danny mentioned the
Yep,
Rascals a
that was
lot.
Impact Wrestling around like 2019, 2020.
Yes. Now I don't know much about them. I'm familiar. But seeing reunions happen in a bigger stage, and then obviously the casual fans, like myself, when it comes to again TNA, because I didn't really watch regularly as most people did, and especially now within maybe like the last 4 or 5 years, I've really started to kind of acquaint myself with like a lot of these TNA talent, seeing a lot of their matches, getting to know a lot of these people. Um, it's really cool to see reunions, and again on a bigger stage. So, is that going to be long term? Is it going to be a one-off thing? Is it going to be temporary? Are the Rascals going to be officially reunited in a WWE setting? Who knows? But I'm excited to see what you have to say about it.
So obviously, I've followed TNA. Like, I didn't watch it regularly during 2020, 2019, but I did watch highlights. And the Rascals always really stood out to me because they're great high flyers and they had great chemistry. The way that they did their vignettes debuting in TNA, which I got to send you the links to them.
Hell yeah.
It was like that 70s show. Like, they would be high and like they would have like the cameras and like they would say something and then like the camera would pan over to the next guy. It was so cool. Like, they did all their vignettes and like interviews and stuff like that, which was really funny.
Dude, that's
And
awesome.
honestly, I think for Wesley, this is awesome because he's been super close with these two. They're pretty much like his best friends. And especially with what happened with Zachary Wentz and that whole Kimberly situation, to see him show up back on WWE programming on NXT this past Tuesday, I think was great. It was just a very surreal moment because he went through a lot of shit. He lost his job because of false accusations that this woman made against him. And even MJF, who was a heel at the time, even stuck up for Zachary Wentz because he was roommates with him when they first got into the business. So to see Zachary Wentz get this opportunity, this moment to just like redeem himself, I love that. And then Trey Mitchell's, Trey Miguel, he's been so talented. He's been in the Pro Wrestling Illustration top 500s. He's been landing in like 50 or less. And he's a great talent who just hasn't really gotten the opportunities that he deserves. He's been a great X Division champion, tag team champion, and he's somebody that you definitely want to keep your eyes on. So to see the Rascals come back together, being a TNA diehard fan, I loved it. And next week, they actually are going to be wrestling in a 6-man against Gallus. So I'm very excited to see that.
That's exciting, man. Like I said, I love today. I love nostalgia. I am arguably in a lot of ways, I am fueled on nostalgia. So I love seeing shit like this. And I love seeing when it's growing, like I love to see when it's on a bigger scale, seeing again, we're going to be getting into it in the main event, seeing that tag team, sign with WWE this late in the game is very interesting. And their landing point is what I'm interested the most in, because at their age, I don't see NXT anywhere on that list. I don't.
Yeah,
Like,
but then again, they like to go viral, so
they
it could
do
happen. But we're gonna get into all that later.
Yeah, we'll get
on
into
in
it.
the show.
That's what I'm excited for. But again, just I love seeing things on a bigger scale. I love reunions, and I love when it's organic and it just feels right. So with that being said, man, I'm excited.
Last thing I'm gonna say about this is with Wesley, if you go back and watch this clip over on the WWE YouTube channel, just look at Wesley's face when the Rascals come out. You can tell how generally happy he was to have this reunion. And I just thought it was just wicked cool. I'm kind of mad that they didn't come out to the TNA song. They did come out to the MSK song that Zachary and Wes came out to as a tag team. Probably
Okay.
because in the beginning of the theme song for the Rascals, they have the bong rip. So they probably didn't want that. They're still in the PG era in WWE a little
It's
bit
like
over on
you
the
can't have
NXT
that until
program.
we get to, and we can't have that until you get to Netflix.
Yep, until
Sorry,
we get
bub.
to Netflix. Sorry, pal. Moving on now to our last We Are Wrestling weekly recap. I know you don't really watch AEW often. I don't know how much you can give to this topic, but I do have some things I want to say about it because
Okay.
I just watched AEW Dynamite. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, Mariah May finally turned on Toni Storm after winning the Owen Hart Cup Finals. So now for AEW All In at Wembley, it will be Toni Storm versus Mariah May. What's your thoughts on Mariah turning heel on Toni? Because they've been
See, I
together
thought,
since she debuted.
yeah. So I'm aware that she had like a little protege and like a little mini me, but I didn't know how like deep it got. But first of
It
all,
was deep, bro.
I thought Toni was a heel. Firstly, so I'm a little like, okay. Two, I think this was always the plan, like especially when
Oh,
she's dressing up like
definitely.
old school fucking Toni Storm, being like literally a fucking figment of her past, like an
You know
echo
what's
of her
funny
past.
about that? When when Toni Storm's old music hit and like she dressed up like Toni Storm, everybody thought that that was actually Toni Storm.
Yeah, she actually looks like her. It looks like
That was
her, bro.
great.
Especially with the glasses
So
on.
good.
Fuck, you can't tell the difference. The only
So
thing that
I
you can
could
tell is that
so I could also clarify too. The first thing that you said was Toni Storm you thought was a heel, and originally she was, but throughout her time as the AEW Women's World Champion with this character that's just so over with the
yeah,
crowd right
the golden
now,
age.
it's just like Swerve. Like the fans were just getting behind the whole dancing thing that Nani was doing, Nana, and it just now like they're kind of slowly just fading her as a good person. And I think having Mariah May turn on Toni to really focus on that world championship, I think great way to kind of do like a double turn because they were both heels at the time. So then having Mariah May take out Toni and now having a legitimate number one contender for the championship, I think definitely is more intriguing. And I think Toni Storm as a babyface makes a lot more sense with how over the gimmick is.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, like I kind of saw this coming. Like I feel like anybody could, even as a casual
I saw
fan.
it
I
a
mean,
million miles away.
you know, it's just exciting to see when a trigger's finally pulled, you know? I'm
Amen.
interested to see what's
It's
up.
even better. It's even better when there's color involved there.
Oh, that's
It's even better when you got color, especially with the women wrestlers. That's one thing I really like that AEW does. Because with the color, they don't care if it's the men or the females. They just do it. WWE, they're starting to slowly get into it, which is cool.
Yeah,
But I
last
will
time
give my thoughts on this here. I saw this happening a mile away. I thought it was going to be Toni Storm turning on Mariah because she was like not impressed with her being her protege. So like I thought that was going to happen, but then the more I thought about it, the more I realized, well, the fans, they love Toni Storm, so they're going to have Mariah turn on her, and that's exactly what happened. And AEW, they've been getting criticized a lot this year for the lack of storylines, and I must say, I know there's a lot of you that don't watch AEW Dynamite right now because of all the shenanigans that happens. It's a roller coaster. Like when things are good, you get your hopes up. You're going all the way up to the tippity top of the roller coaster. And then something stupid happens, which a lot of times it's Tony Khan, and you just lose your interest. You go down that roller coaster, and that's it. But I will say this, AEW Dynamite, the last couple weeks have been really good when it comes to storytelling. Seems like they really have a good direction going into Wembley, and I'm excited to see where things go, and I think having Mariah versus Toni, this can go either way, and I'm very invested. But there is somebody who is a part of the We Are Wrestling team that really wants to give his thoughts on this turn, and that is Ricky Knows Best. So Let's hear what Ricky's got to say about Mariah May turning on Toni Storm.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Moxley's just as crazy as him.
No, Ricky! Bullshit!
They do it too sometimes. I'll be catching it.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Stop playing.
But that's my opinion.
He's so over.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you. What's up, We Are Wrestling? Shout out to the best one, Donnie. The Lone Ranger, Uncle Ben. Getting to this Mariah May situation. This heel turn, as you call it, on Toni Storm. It's unexpected. But now Mariah May, she has all of the tools in the world to be the top female wrestler, in my opinion. I think it was unexpected too at the same time. But then it also displays that she's been looking for Toni Storm's approval this whole time and didn't get it until it came to a certain extent. But now, all in the same, I think this is going to be a good match at All In. At the same time, Mariah May might win. She might solidify herself here, unless they want to keep it longer for Storm. But that's just how I see it. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. Don't kill me for it. But shout out to We Are Wrestling. God bless y'all. Peace.
We're back, and whew, Ricky's got a lot to say about that. But up next, we have our comment of the week, and of course, the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 116.
Crack-a-lackin', everybody. WWE Hall of Famer, The Godfather here, and you're listening to, that's right, you are listening to We Are Wrestling Podcast. Check them out, man. Steal that smoke train.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now.
Guys, every week right here on We Are Wrestling Podcast, we have a segment we like to do called the Comment of the Week. And this week's Comment of the Week was actually on our extra for John Cena announcing his retirement. And this comment is from Thrasher 122489. And the comment quotes, "For John to lose all of his matches, that's how it's going to basically kind of be like a good tour, basically, is for him to lose all of his matches. Let's be honest, he's not the best and he's won way too many matches and titles. He was a failed bodybuilder who became a wrestler and was good at talking, not wrestling. Have him put over everyone instead of burying everyone."
Oh my
What's your
God.
thoughts?
Give me a fucking break. That's really our comment of the week?
Hey, they're up for debate, man. Not all of the Comment of the Weeks are going to be good.
So John Cena was a failed bodybuilder, and that's why he became a pro wrestler. Well, shit. If I was in John Cena's shoes, I wish I was a failed fucking bodybuilder and had the career that he had. And that's the thing about John Cena that doesn't get talked about a lot, because when you're famous and you have millions and millions of followers, you're doing movies in Hollywood, you are a 16-time world champion, they talk about the highlights, they talk about the accolades. But a lot of people don't realize that John Cena, to get into the position that he got into, the dude lived below his means after he got out of high school and went to college. And he was friggin' living in his car to become a professional wrestler. And he went out to OVW and learned from scratch. And then even WWE, like his career, like he was about to lose his job. And then he got lucky that Stephanie McMahon and some of the boys heard him freestyling on the bus during one of the tours. And then that's when John Cena blew up. And I'm sorry, I might be biased because he's my childhood hero, but John Cena has earned all of his success throughout his entire life. One of the most humbled, one of the most nicest guys. And if you're a professional wrestling fan, whether you love or hate John Cena, you have to appreciate everything he's contributed to this business, because during the PG era, nobody wanted to step up to the plate except for one person, and that was John Cena. There was nobody out there going to all the WWE live events, working 300 plus days, also doing all these Make-A-Wish Foundation wishes and just doing all the medias. And he really took the extra mile. He was on the gas. I don't think anybody could be on the gas like John Cena was during that time.
Fuck no, Donnie. You are absolutely
So there will be no John Cena slander here on the We Are Wrestling
anywhere.
Podcast.
We need to make a statement out of somebody, and I'm sorry, bro, but you caught that straight this time. Yes,
hey,
Donnie.
he got his 15 seconds of fame right there and there. But Ben, I want to get your comment on something real quick, because that was a horrible comment of the week selection. All right, and I'm going to hold you to that. But I want to get your comment on. You're a music reactor, right? You like to react to music and stuff.
Of course.
Well, over on Twitter, Max Caster, he quoted a tweet from Cultaholic, pretty much putting out the reports that Mansoor and Mace signed with AEW / Ring of Honor. And Max Caster, you already know the noise that he's made with the whole Shelton Benjamin thing. He said, "We don't want you here," to Mansoor and Mace. So I want to get your reaction to Mansoor's diss track that he posted on Twitter to Max Caster. Mansoor.
Oh, no. Okay.
You ready for this, Ben? I think I'm ready.
God. Okay, let's go.
Here we go. All right, so here it is, Ben. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yo. Listen. Yo, listen. We're taking Caster's spot. I can feel the resentment. He's about to be forgotten like the rhymes in his entrance. Knees weak, arms spaghetti. Entire world knows him as Bowen's Janetti. Doritos, Cheetos, Fritos. Max is sensitive because he's the smallest in his trio. He's looking for a hot act to be attached. Best wrestler alive, but can't get booked for a singles match. Just put my fries in the bag, bro.
And he goes back to eating his oatmeal.
Did Max Caster just get fucking bodied by a maximum male model? LA Knight would fucking be so goddamn proud. Bro.
Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great?
I think I just got at least 150,000 like respect points just dumped into Mansoor right now, dude. That was fucking awesome, bro. And like he was barely spitting his shit. He still had a mouthful of food, and he fucking buried that motherfucker, and then just went right back to fucking eating his oatmeal. That is fucking how you do it. That is how you fucking stand out, bro. Oh my god. Now that is the GOAT. That is a future fucking Hall of Famer right there.
That was great.
Yo, that was Grammy worthy.
Low key, Ben, I want to hear it one more time before we go into our news. All right, let's hear it. All right, here we go, guys. One more time. We're giving Mansoor an encore. Hey, if you want to come on the podcast, Maximum Male Models, you're more than welcome to.
Wow.
Yo. Listen. Yo, listen. We're taking Caster's spot. I can feel the resentment. He's about to be forgotten like the rhymes in his entrance. Knees weak, arms spaghetti. Entire world knows him as Bowen's Janetti. Doritos, Cheetos, Fritos. Max is sensitive because he's the smallest in his trio. He's looking for a hot act to be attached. Best wrestler alive, but can't get booked for a singles match. Just put my fries in the bag, bro.
My favorite part, he just goes back to eating. Well, congratulations to the comment of the week. Ben is like shocked right now.
I cannot believe what the fuck I just saw. I cannot. Yeah, dude, I can't believe what the fuck I just saw. I can't. I cannot believe Mansois just buried the fuck out of Max Caster with elegance and didn't even use any effort. And then just kept staring at the camera like what you gonna say now, bitch? Like, what you gonna say now? He said, just put my fries in the bag, bro. I'm like,
just put the fries in the bag.
Because he said he eaten, you might as well just fucking put the fries in the bag for me, bro. Like, oh, God, dude.
We don't want you here. And he drops that. That's great. Yep. So congratulations to myself on the comment of the week. Let's freaking go. Yeah, close it off, Ben. Close it off.
All right, guys. And that was our comment of the week. And if you guys want your comment featured right here on We Are Wrestling segment comment of the week, all you got to do is leave a comment on any of our social medias around the social world or right here on YouTube. And if yours is juicy, you'll be featured right here on the segment comment of the week. Yeah.
And let's just say next week, we're not picking a John Cena slandered comment. Just want to put that out there.
Hey, man, I wasn't trying to promote the slander.
Mansois saved us.
Hey, I wasn't trying to put out the slander. I was just trying to have a good like conversational debate. That's it.
So now with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. Yeah. Starting things off, Logan Paul has reached a huge milestone. He's had the U.S. title for over 250 days. What's your thoughts on his title reign so far?
Garbage, because he's only defended the fucking thing twice. Twice. Out of how many days? 250 plus?
250 days.
That is pathetic. I'm sorry, but that is just straight up pathetic. I thought fucking Logan Paul was going to be so much better, but he's not. If anything, he's worse than fucking Roman has been. He's already defending it less than he did in the first fucking...
I think Goldberg defended the title more than Logan.
That's awful.
During
that
Vince
is so
era.
awful.
During the Vince era, which is very sad.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. That's awful. That's so bad.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this whatsoever, and I'm not even going to blame Logan Paul for this because he has been booked. They're just not having him defend the United States Championship. Instead, they had him do a champion versus champion match with Cody Rhodes, and like he's done like qualifying matches for Money in the Bank, and like, come on, like they have booked Logan Paul. So like, why can't they like have him defend his championship?
It's the biggest Vince McMahon type question you could possibly ask yourself, honestly. That is like
there's one thing I'm going to say, which is going to lead to something else. So here's like what I want to say about Logan Paul's United States Championship run. Just like the tag champions, just like a lot of these superstars that are over with the crowd, the biggest problem in the Triple H era is 5 matches on a PLE. And that's all I'm going to leave it at because I've decided that next week, it's been a long time since we've had Hot Takes. And I think Hot Takes is coming back next week, and we're going to talk about this 5 PLE match bullshit. Because I think that's the one thing right now that is holding WWE back from reaching its full potential.
Yeah,
but
dude.
I'm going to get into all that during Hot Takes, but it's definitely not helping Logan Paul's title run. And it's disappointing because the Intercontinental Championship right now is so prestigious. Even though I'm like, I want something new for Sami Zayn, the championship is still over. He's still defending it and having great matches. Gunther made that championship to the top.
So
and that's what I want
good.
with the U.S. title, too. The U.S. title should be competing with the Intercontinental, but it's like they're not doing anything, and it's so disappointing. I'm hoping LA Knight faces Logan at SummerSlam and takes that belt because we need a defending champion.
We do. And like you just got done saying, Gunther has been literally fucking... He took a title that was suffering for years, dude. Like, to the point where I thought that they were going to fucking bury the IC title and bring back the European title or some shit. But Gunther really turned that shit around and made it literally, like, one of the best titles that you just had to have, and ever since Sammy's had it, it hasn't had that same effect.
In the United States Championship, it really just goes all the way back, I feel like, to like Austin Theory being champion. There really wasn't anything to it. With Logan Paul, there's really nothing to it. And it's not even Logan Paul's fault because he's done a great job with the media stuff. He's done a great job promoting and staying relevant on WWE programming, but they just haven't done it yet. And I think a lot of it really has to do with this 5 PLE thing. Because we should have gotten LA Knight versus Logan at Money in the Bank. We should have gotten that somewhere, someplace. Not all the way until now.
We should have got it till Mania. We had the whole fucking shit paved out, man. That we talked about that for like almost a year, bro. And somehow like we're here. But at the same time, SummerSlam was the best second option. It was the best second option. But at the same time,
they still should have. They could have even had a filler match and done something there. Because Logan Paul's even said like he's willing to work full time. He's willing to work matches and stuff. He's not one of those part-timers that's friggin' going out saying, oh, I can only wrestle the big events. Like, we see him wrestling on SmackDown. We see him showing up consistently.
So why aren't you booking him? Like, for the fucking title? Like, why aren't you doing it?
I don't blame Logan Paul here. I blame WWE booking.
That's bad, too.
Moving on now.
He's viral.
He's very viral, and it's not looking good for him at all. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly news and rumors. Back in the early 90s, WCW used this thing called a ref cam. Well, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, another element discussed as of late has been the utilization of a ref cam, which could make its way on screen soon. Do you think WWE should do this?
Yes. I'm cool with the ref cam for like bigger matches, but constantly, no. Big matches like, Hell in a Cell, War Games, yes, that would be fucking perfect. But for just matches in general, no, I don't think it's necessary. Because at that point, it's like you're overusing angles that you don't need. It's like you're trying to pipe in so much, and if you overuse it just a little bit, you're gonna miss out on the magic. Angles are important, but for bigger and broader things. They're good for the Royal Rumble because we're going to get, a little bit more like their feet definitely hit the floor. We're going to get like holy shit moments again. So I'm stoked for that, but not on a regular basis, no.
So here's what I want with this ref cam. I'm not totally against it. I think it's always cool to try things outside the box, which I think is the reason why I always loved TNA wrestling back in the day. Because they always did stuff outside the box, having the 6-sided ring, Ultimate X, King of the Mountain. And I think WWE doing this would be a great idea just to see how it works. I don't want it to be a regular thing. I think the only times that the referee should be having the ref cam should be during stipulation matches. I think a Hell in a Cell, a Steel Cage, a War Games, perfect. Because a lot of the times it is hard for WWE production to get really good shots. But having the referee camera is like a GoPro. You're going to get that perfect shot in the ring. And you're not going to really have to like get like the K. Like,
no,
you can there's so much you could do. Royal Rumble, just like you said, with the feet. Perfect. Elimination Chamber. Perfect. Stipulation style matches. I think the referee cam could be a great quality upgrade for their production. But regular matches, no. We need to find that common balance.
Imagine an I Quit match getting the actual like visual of the person legitimately in fucking pain, like about to yell I quit, like getting that almost like fucking body cam footage. That's going to add so much to the effect of that. It's going to be insane.
Because let's look at this graphic here real quick, the WCW graphic. Like, look at the view inside that cage. I think this is the War Games.
Yes.
And look how nice that looks. I think that could be a huge addition to the production. So honestly, I'm all for this. Just don't overuse it.
In moderation.
Like the turnbuckle cam, they kind of overuse these days. I want there to be a perfect balance. I think stipulation matches, that would add so much to it. So I'm not against it. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. ESPN announcer Joe Tessitore is now joining WWE. What's your thoughts on WWE bringing in people outside of the pro wrestling industry during this new era? Because with WWE and TKO merging, it seems like WWE is trying to get away from the typical former WWE legends and stuff, and they're trying to get more people from the media, from like ESPN, like Pat McAfee, for example. And now bringing in this guy who I believe the reports are he's going to be joining the SmackDown commentary team with Wade Barrett. And who's the other guy that's a part of it? Corey Graves? Yeah, Corey Graves. He's going to be joining them. And then on Raw, it'll be Michael and Pat.
Yep. So I'm okay with it. Now they are also on the high of Pat McAfee, who is like one of the greatest non-fucking WWE guys to ever fucking touch a commentator mic. But I'm also for it in terms of the business too, and also in terms for the individual that's coming in, because it's going to look great on their resume. It's going to look great on WWE's resume. It's going to make them look a little bit even more legit as an actual sports organization, having people that were outside, doing legitimate sports per se. A part of WWE television is going to also bring that audience in that enjoyed him doing the job. So it's a great marketing strategy on both ends.
I think that this is a brilliant signing. I have watched like some clips during this news that came out.
He's got a good voice.
Play-by-plays with college and stuff. I don't have it on me because they would copyright this immediately.
Yeah, but like he's got a good voice though.
But he does have a great voice play-by-play. And I think the perfect commentary duo, you always have to have that legend, and you also need to have that play-by-play. There's a reason why Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler are the GOATs when it comes to the commentary team. Because Jerry the King Lawler, he's been there. He's been on the road. He's been taking the bumps. He's been wrestling for over 50 years. Jim Ross, on the other hand, he's always been a great color play-by-play commentator. That's why it works with Monday Night Raw. Pat McAfee's an athlete.
And he's also a fucking longtime fan.
Exactly. And having Joe here is going to be a great balance because both Wade Barrett and Corey Graves, they are former wrestlers. So having a play-by-play guy with them, it's going to work great.
He's going to have two anchors to sail for. Like, he's going to have people like teaching him everything as he's going, while he's going to be able to take down the play-by-play. So they're going to be able to teach him, but also have a very good voice for the play-by-play. And in turns, we're getting another Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross again. So it's like they're genuinely coming at this in a very smart angle. So honestly, I'm impressed.
And also, too, with ESPN being one of the most high-viewed sport channels out there, bringing in somebody like Joe is only going to bring more eyes to the product, just like bringing in Pat McAfee. So I think this is a brilliant move. WWE, like with TKO, at first we were very nervous when they sold it to them, but they got plans and it's working, because right now WWE is mainstreaming and it's looking great. So honestly, I hope this keeps happening, and eventually I want to see ESPN Stephen A. Smith. I want to see him do more stuff with WWE, because that man, he's very controversial, but he could definitely make a lot of noise. So I think they should definitely do that eventually. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly News. This one, we are going to let Ricky Knows Best take the reins, because I'm going to be completely honest here. I don't know this wrestler, and I sure as hell know if I don't know her, you definitely don't know her. So even WWE apparently didn't know her until Forbidden Door. CMLL / New Japan Pro Wrestling star Stephanie Vaquer, I think that's how you say it, has signed with WWE. It doesn't matter how I pronounce the name, because there's one person that knows her more than Ben and I, probably knows her more than he knows us. And that is Ricky Knows best. So, Ricky, give us a history lesson on Stephanie, Vaquer, whatever you want to call her, Vasquez, I don't care. Let's hear what Ricky's got to say on Ricky Knows Best.
Oh my God. You need to keep that.
I'm keeping all of it.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Moxley's just as crazy as him.
No, Ricky! Bullshit!
They do it too sometimes. I'll be catching it.
It's me, Ricky Williams.
Stop playing.
But that's my opinion.
He's so over.
Ricky knows best, ladies and gentlemen. Ricky knows best. Believe in me. God bless you. What's up, We Are Wrestling? Shout out to the best one and the Uncle Ben, aka the Lone Ranger. Let me give you my intake on Stephanie Vargas. If I get the name wrong, I'm sorry. And her leaving CMLL and New Japan. That's a big loss for both companies, to be honest. Because she's literally, her and Galli over there literally are two of the top female superstars over there. And Stephanie's literally one of the most talented ones in the business today. And where would I want to see her land? I wouldn't mind seeing her land probably AEW. But AEW's their women division has so much talent over there, like she might get lost in the shuffle. But then WWE at the same time has it too. The difference is WWE hasn't been using their female talent like AEW has been using them. AEW hype and they promote their female superstars, right? Now, WWE kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But like I said, it's a toss and toss. It's a up and up. And it's all in the same. I would like to see her land in AEW, like I said. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. And I hope to see better things from her. And shout out to We Are Wrestling once again. Shout out to the best one in the Lone Ranger.
So, thank you, Ricky, for giving us your thoughts on all of this happening. I have no idea who she is. I haven't really watched Forbidden Door. The only match that I watched back was Will Ospreay and Swerve. I do have to look back at that Stephanie versus Mercedes match because I did hear it was really good. But I do wish her nothing but the very best. She seems very talented, and I think her going to WWE is definitely going to spice some things up. And WWE, man, they're making some underrated moves in free agency. But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly News and Rumors, somebody that we're both familiar with, we're both very high on, big upcoming free agent. The news is out. Jordynne Grace's TNA contract is up in early 2025. Do you think she signs with WWE? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, Ben. Let's talk about it.
Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely yes. They've been teasing this since the fucking Rumble, man. And her every single time she has shown up, she's got people talking. The pop is fucking nuts. She can clearly work with who the fuck ever. And she is just perfect. Like, she's literally like what we're missing in the women's division that could shake it up a little bit and really fucking bring the smack it down. I'm so excited. But I'm stoked because it's like, I don't know if, like, do we start her in NXT? Do we just bring her to the main roster since she's already had NXT exposure? Like, what do we do? Because she's already an established star. So I'm like, what do we do? What do we do?
Bring her ass to the main roster as soon as possible.
Yes. Bring her to
and
Monday
honestly,
Night
here's
Raw.
what I'm going to say about this. Because normally, I always say, like, you have to earn your stripes. But with Jordynne Grace, I think they need to do what they should be doing with Braun Breaker right now. Strap a rocket on her and let her take off. Let her have that Brock Lesnar Rookie of the Year run. Give her the Women's Championship at like a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. Let her go against the very best. I want to see her versus Mommy. I want to see her versus Bianca Belair. I want to see her versus Jade Cargill because she can probably make her look good. I want to see her versus Liv, Becky when she comes back. Jordynne Grace is going to be a massive signing for the WWE, and she's going to get the bag. But what I really hope out of this is the TNA working relationship with WWE continues to grow strong because Jordynne Grace, she has really brought a lot of eyes to TNA, especially with their Knockouts division. So I do want to see Jordynne Grace, even if she's under a WWE contract, still show up to some of the big TNA shows and still work them because she's that talented.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're in for a real treat because I'm pretty sure that if she was like hellbent on re-signing with TNA, one, she probably would already have plans to. Two, I mean, extensions can realistically come whenever. She could sign one whenever, but she's clearly interested in WWE. Any fucking professional
here's,
wrestler
like,
that
what I
has
want to
ever
say.
been on the world wants to get there. That's the
And
promise.
that's the thing. Like, here's what I want to say, too, about that. Like, I love her loyalty to TNA. I love that about her. She has done so much during this crossover promoting thing. And I just hope that it doesn't get in the way of the WWE and TNA working relationship because she, as much as I love TNA and what they're doing, she needs to be on the bigger stage. She's more than ready. She's more than capable of doing it. And she could be a main event star. I see her having a first-class WWE Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
And she needs to be on the big stage.
And it's
TNA,
like-
she's done everything.
I was literally going to get there. Yeah, like what more can she do? You know, she's done it all. She literally reinvented herself in TNA physically, emotionally, and mentally. She's won every title I'm assuming that a woman can win over there. She's faced basically the entire fucking locker room. So it's like, what more can you do? You're known as their main attraction, but even the main attraction has to move on to become a brand new face of another territory. So it's like, dude, it's time.
And
I'm
I do have the
excited.
best example here, and I'm going to leave it as this. AJ Styles. He is the face of TNA. He did more than everything he could during his last final run. It was becoming very stagnant, and he went out and he betted on himself, left TNA because they didn't want to give him the money that he felt he deserved. So then he went over to Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling and joined Bullet Club and took off from there, which led to him going to the place that he always wanted to be, and that was WWE.
AJ Styles is definitely 1,000% that guy. And like, it's unfortunate that WWE and TNA back in the day weren't anywhere near fucking tight. So it's like Jordan is
TNA was
lucky.
in AEW shoes. They were competing against them.
No, I'm talking about like back in the day during fucking AJ's prime, where fucking Jordan is now.
I see. No,
They
that's
didn't
fair.
have that easy gateway. So it's like Jordan in a lot of ways is very lucky, but
Yeah,
I'm
because AJ
very
Styles had the scratch and claw his way.
he had to fucking make
with
detours.
AJ Styles, he could have signed a developmental deal with WWE back in 2002, but he declined it because his wife wanted to become a teacher. And he had to pretty much let her go to school and let her do that while he was doing the independent wrestling stuff. So,
yeah,
got to give it to AJ Styles. He really worked his way. And I think Jordynne Grace, the fact that now, like, the wider audience knows who she is, it's time. And hopefully she goes to WWE, like I said, and they strap a rocket to her and she takes off.
I agree, man.
But moving on now to our next We Are Wrestling Weekly News. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, it looks like Samoa Joe has been written off of AEW TV, according to PW Insider. And this is a great segue because we both love this show, and you kind of got me into this show.
Yes,
He will be returning for the second season of Twisted Metal, which will begin shooting in Toronto later this month. And I believe shooting is going to go until October, which is according to the reports. How excited are you for season 2 of Twisted Metal? Let's talk about it. Best excuse to not talk about something wrestling.
So one, can I ask you a question about Samoa Joe?
Yes.
Is he bald currently? Like, is his head like shaved yet?
No, he's got the regular cut that he usually has, like the short, like buzz cut. But I'm sure he's gonna be buzzing it all off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm fucking stoked for season 2 of Twisted Metal because arguably Sweet Tooth himself, our boy Samoa Joe, is literally arguably the best part of that fucking show. Like, arguably the best part. And mind you, the whole show is fucking great. Like, I'm not discrediting the show. The show is a top tier show.
I enjoyed it a lot, especially the soundtrack.
But Samoa Joe is going back. That's how you know season 2 on its way, baby. I'm so excited for the continuation of Sweet Tooth's story. John Doe's story, Quiet story, dude. I'm excited to finally meet Calypso, who he just got casted, by the way. Neve Campbell from Scream is back as Raven. Like, I'm excited to see the actual arena of Twisted Metal. We're in for a treat, bro.
We're definitely in for a treat. And this was a show that I never really heard of because during my time growing up, I never played the Twisted Metal game. I know you have. I know Sherm has. And I just never really got into it. But then I remember you telling me about Sweet Tooth, and I was just like, what the hell? Like, I've never seen this before. And then you showed me, and then you told me, Donnie, you have 30 days to watch this. If you don't watch this, I am leaving the We Are Wrestling podcast. So what did I do? I binged watched it when I wasn't feeling good, and I really enjoyed the show. The story was fantastic, and the soundtrack really got me invested in the show. Can't stop talking about that. And it was just so cool seeing Samoa Joe like do something outside of the ring because he's so talented. And it was great to kind of see him like do something different because I could definitely see him having a successful career doing acting after his pro wrestling.
Like, I'm not sure like how he'll do like dialogue wise, like by himself, because as you know, the voice of Sweet Tooth in Twisted Metal, the show, is not Samoa Joe.
It's not Samoa Joe.
I would like to see what he could do with his own voice, considering, honestly, I thought he was going to voice Sweet Tooth too, considering he's got a very like deep and masculine
he does
voice.
kind of talk like him.
So I'm like, like, why not? But honestly, I ain't mad because the mixture between the two created something so beautiful. I can't see it any other way. I'm very excited. I'm very excited that he's doing something. And it's a leading role. Like, it's a leading role. It's not like a very small thing in general. He's playing the physical form.
Oh yeah, it's a role. It's a role that you can't just have like some random person off the streets play. Like, it's got to be Samoa Joe. Like, he fits the character perfect.
And I'm so glad that he's being given all of these opportunities and like he's presented with these opportunities to do these things, because it's like, if I wanted anybody from TNA to just fucking thrive, it was Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is somebody I've always wanted to just like have the fucking world handed to him. So the fact that it is, and I get to enjoy it as a fan, that's pretty fucking cool. That's really cool.
I love that we got to talk about Twisted Metal Season 2 for a little bit. But now getting back into the wrestling side of it, I do want to give my thoughts on the way that they wrote him off TV. So they did have like a Stampede street fight, and Jericho pretty much had Big Bill and the other guy there attack Samoa Joe.
The other guy.
On a pallet, and Jericho ran the forklift into a wall, which I thought was great. And I think it definitely adds more to the storyline that's going on in AEW with Jericho and Hook, which I do hope that they finish this at All In or All Out.
Is he still the learning tree?
Yes, he's still doing the hi guys.
But I heard it's over as fuck. Is it really good?
So here's the funny thing about it, all right? Jericho, I'm not going to lie to you, I despise this whole thing because all the fans in the pro wrestling world during, like, when Jericho first did this, like, we were just over Jericho in AEW. Like, a lot of people want him to take a break, go on tour with Fozzy, just get away from AEW TV for a little bit. And Jericho is one of the most brilliant professional wrestlers in this business, because what he did was all the people saying, you need to retire, this, that. He went out and basically made it a whole meme with the whole TV time. Like, he makes sure every time during his promos, he says, you know me, I need to get my TV time. So, like, he's pretty much just being arrogant, and it's working. And I think the fans, they're enjoying it, because when Jericho does something that's, like, comedic, like the whole list thing, when he said, you just made the list, people love that shit, because Jericho, he thrives when you give him, like, a comedic role.
Oh,
and this
absolutely.
whole learning tree thing, literally, he's just making an ass out of himself, and people love that.
Huh?
Hi, guys! And then, like, he talks to you like you're on, like, a kid's show or something. Like, he
Jesus
goes, like, up to, like,
Christ.
random wrestlers backstage, and he'll be like, now this is not what you do, or something like that, and it's fucking great. I love the whole
Jesus.
learning tree shit.
Well, good. I'm glad that he found something that is working for him, especially this late in the game, and he's still finding a way to be over. So, I mean, hey, cool.
And the one person I think it's benefiting the most is Big Bill, because once
Big Bill.
eventually Big Bill either turns on Jericho or Jericho turns on him, I think that it's going to really take off for him, and I think that he's going to start to be taken more serious, which he already is, and I think maybe even a world championship or like a TNT title, maybe eventually. I just think that he's benefiting the most from this, and honestly, they turned something literal shit to chicken salad. Chicken shit
good.
to chicken salad.
That's
But
the shit I like.
our last We Are Wrestling Weekly news and rumors topic, WWE has big plans for Joe Hendry. According to Corey of Fightful, there's reports that there are plans to use Hendry heavily in the coming weeks and months. WWE sources said they're looking to focus on Hendry's ability to go viral following his first appearance, with small teases for him. What would you like to see WWE do with Joe Hendry?
Sign him. Sign him for first of all. I mean, it's cool that they have.
Before you give your thoughts, Ben, if they're going to sign him, do not let Def Rebel get in Joe Hendry's way, because we do not need generic ass music for him. He needs to keep that Joe Hendry song that he has right now.
Well, here's the thing: he's gonna keep the Joe Hendry song. I would think that he would, especially since, listen, if they're gonna let Matt Cardona come back as Matt Cardona, if they let fucking Cody Rhodes come back as the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, if they let a lot of this shit slide, and we got fucking Piper back, we got fucking Gable back, if we got all of these things back, he can keep the fucking Joe Hendry theme song. I mean, that's literally what made him viral, and they're literally like they're
say his
monetized
name
from it.
He appears. Oh, I believe in Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Dude, I love Joe Hendry. For him to get all this buzz, I'm so happy for him. And honestly, I know we were talking about it a little bit in the beginning of the show. I think him versus Ethan Page, that'd be a great NXT special match, I think, for one of their upcoming takeovers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have one of the most over baby faces going against one of the more up-and-coming heels. And I think that that could be a great storyline. And I hope WWE continues this momentum, because I definitely think when Joe Hendry's contract's up with TNA, he's definitely going to get signed to WWE, because he has all the tools to be a great sports entertainer. And I could definitely see him being an Intercontinental or United States champion and really just take off on the main roster. Which, one thing I do hope with these plans, Ben, I want to see Joe Hendry face John Cena. I think that that'd be a great crossover match. And the second thing, I really want Joe Hendry to enter the Royal Rumble.
Oh, he's entering the Rumble, son. Joe Hendry will be in the Royal Rumble. Like, you can guarantee.
Dude, that whole stadium singing his song, I feel like I'm literally gonna have the chills during the watch along.
I believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah. That's gonna be lit, bro.
I'm so excited that they have plans for him. I'm so excited,
and for
because
months to come.
He deserves it.
Yeah. I'm excited. I like Joe Hendry.
I'm a Joe Hendry mark. I love his work, and I highly recommend the Maniacs, if you haven't already, go down that rabbit hole on YouTube. Watch the songs that he's made on like his opponents and stuff over in the UK. It's must watch. Even the stuff he's doing right now in TNA Wrestling, they're posting the highlights over on their YouTube channel. Highly recommend going down that rabbit hole, because once you get down that rabbit hole, there's no coming out. But up next, we have our Getting Put Over segment, and of course, the main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 116.
Hey everybody, it's Hall of Famer Devon Dudley here. And when I'm not putting people through tables or testifying, I am listening to one of the greatest podcasts in the world. We Are Wrestling Podcast. Check it out. Testify.
Collecting has always had a special place in my heart, going all the way back to when I was a kid. I remember my parents taking me to Toys R Us and waking up on Christmas morning to a bunch of new action figures. I had bins filled with thousands of rare WWE, WCW, ECW, and TNA figures through the years until, unfortunately, I ended up selling my whole childhood without knowing the true value of my collection. 2 years after I made that horrible decision, the pandemic hit, and I realized there was a part of me that felt missing, and that was collecting. My whole life, I have loved collecting wrestling figures, wrestling memorabilia, classic video games, Nickelodeon stuff, sneakers, Funko Pops, and even Angry Birds. As time went by, I decided I wanted to get back into collecting, except this time, document it and rebuild my collection over on Best One Donnie. So, if you want to go back into time and relive my nostalgic memories, subscribe now. We're back, and every week here on the We Are Wrestling podcast, except for the lives, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where every week, Ben and I, we alternate. We pick one past, present, or future professional wrestler, and we put them over. A couple weeks ago, Ben, you picked Mommy, Rhea Ripley. We put her over. Well, this week, we're going back down the rabbit hole to the Ruthless Aggression era. Some say he had a very controversial character, while others think that he should have had that World Heavyweight Championship run. And I was one of them. This week, we're putting over Muhammad Hassan. Dude, I loved Muhammad Hassan, and I was a kid at the time, and like, when you're a kid, you're supposed to hate the heels. I don't know what it was. I loved Muhammad Hassan.
He was the next, what could have been, if you tweak the character a little bit. Like, this dude got canceled before cancel culture was even a thing. That's how you know it was a little fucked up. If they just tweaked the character a little bit, he could have been the next Sheik, bro. That dude had the build for it. He had the riz. He could
look
talk
at that man on that statue,
bro. And his fucking move, the camel clutch, bro. The camel clutch was so fucking lit. It was so lit, and it was just a inverted. I forgot what fucking what hold was it again? That it was the camel clutch, but like, what was the move actually called? It was an actual move though.
No, I think they called it the camel clutch.
Well, Sheik used it too, and it was fucking awesome. Like, he was basically what could have been the next Iron Sheik, but of course, we had to associate him with fucking terrorism. And I understand that it was a little, sensitive of the matter, because it was only at this point when he had debuted. It'd only been like 3 years since 9/11, so I understand as to why.
Well, also too, what really canceled him too was the week before the Great American Bash. Pretty much what happened was, it was in France, and there was like this attack that happened during that time with like terrorism and stuff, and they aired like a bunch of masked people that Muhammad Hassan had, and they like pretty much like beat the Undertaker to death. And it was like during like this whole terrorist attack thing. So then that's why at Great American Bash, they had Undertaker put him through the stage. And then he kind of got written off of TV. Because originally he was supposed to beat Taker and then go to SummerSlam and beat Batista for the world title.
I would have been so fucking heartbroken if I was him, because that would have changed his career. He would still be an active star probably today had that been the fucking case. So I'm so mad for him, because he was ahead of his time in so many ways.
Way ahead.
When it comes to fucking heat, bro. Like, he was like almost as hot as Dom Mysterio, because you remember the 05 Royal Rumble, the moment he walked in that motherfucker, the whole place was a big earthquake boo. Everybody just looked at each other, then looked at him and started beating the hell out of him. And then fucking, not only did fucking Ray get his freaking finisher in, but everybody picked his ass up and threw him out in unison.
That was great. And then he also like had little programs with like Hulk Hogan and all these other legends, and like he didn't feel out of place either during that time. And also I gotta give my flowers to Sean Daivari too. Daivari as his manager really helped a lot. And the fact that these two, they played these characters like to the extent going out like on the planes and stuff and like wearing the suits and the turbans, man, like staying in character during that time where it was very tough for like Americans and even non-Americans. Man, hat has to go off to them. And Muhammad Hassan, I just listened to an interview recently, which is what inspired me to put him over this week on the Chris Van Vliet podcast. And dude, Muhammad Hassan, like the fact that like he really has no ill will towards WWE and understands why he got written off, and now like he moved on from his life and he became a principal for school, and now I believe he's like doing something on the boards and stuff. I'm really happy for him, and now he's like a family man as well. So the fact that like he is like, because if I was in his shoes, man, I would have been so pissed off.
Oh God, yeah.
When you're a bad guy, they tell you do whatever you got to do to generate heat. And he friggin' it was a freaking California fire with his
man.
heat.
He did it, man. And again, he's probably going to go down in history as like one of the biggest what ifs of the pro wrestling industry because he had a bright future.
Bright future. And believe it or not, in my background here, I actually do have like a Ruthless Aggression shelf, and in the front of my shelf is Muhammad Hassan.
Nice. Good shit, bro.
Like with Muhammad Hassan, man, like he just really nailed the character, and it's crazy to look back too at the vignettes that we got with him because a lot of the stuff that he was saying during that time was true. And sometimes like those type of heels are the best heels when you can pretty much make a character and put that character in a real life situation because fans are going to either relate to it or they're going to hate it. And man, he killed it.
He did, man. And again, you know, like it just what we could have had, you know, what
we could have had. He could have been the next big heel in the business. And then maybe Muhammad Hassan would be on Twitter like Iron Sheik and saying, fuck the John Cenas. Fuck the Batistas. But Muhammad Hassan, there really isn't no championship accolades in his WWE run. But with OVW, he did win the World Championship multiple times, and he had a great run over there, which wasn't the Muhammad Hassan character he was doing during that time. But, yeah, Muhammad Hassan, I really enjoyed a lot of his work with the Legends. It's probably my favorite stuff he did. It's just so unfortunate because I felt like at SummerSlam when he beat Batista, that's when he was really going to take off and we were going to get classic rivalries and what could have been, really. And that's the whole point of this Getting Put Over series. We love to not only put these guys on statues, which I think the Muhammad Hassan one looks great, but we also like to acknowledge them because there's people out there that don't really get like the respect that they deserve. People don't talk about them because we're always talking about the big names like the Seth Rollins, the Cody Rhodes, the Hulk Hogans, the John Cenas, Stone Cold, Rocks. And with this Getting Put Over, I like putting over guys that don't get talked about often. And this man right here, guys, Muhammad Hassan, doesn't get talked about enough. But is there anything else you want to say about him before we go into our main event?
It ain't too late, man. It ain't too late. That's all I'm going to say. It ain't too late. He's in great shape, so it ain't too late.
Muhammad Hassan is from the New York area, and if you're watching or listening to this, please come to a wrestling convention near us because I would love to have the opportunity to meet you, and eventually I would love to get Muhammad Hassan here on the podcast and do an interview because he is one of my favorite heels of all time. And that's somebody that's been on my bucket list for meet and greets for a minute now.
I can totally get behind that.
Congratulations, though, to Muhammad Hassan. We put him over this week. It was my turn. A nice little short and sweet one. But next week, it's not my choice. It's your choice, brother. So who are we putting over?
Next week, right here on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we are putting over the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Oh boy, this is going to be a long one. I can't wait to get into Shawn Michaels. Let's fucking go!
Yeah, dude. Heartbreak Kid.
Love it. So next week, we're going from Muhammad Hassan to Shawn Michaels, and I can't wait to get into this. We might even have to bring a special guest for the getting put over next week. Somebody I know that really likes Shawn.
He's also very old school, I have a feeling. So it's going to be a very,
He is very old
talk.
school. He loves Shawn Michaels just like me, just like you. So now with that being said, let's get into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling podcast episode 116. So take this with a pinch of salt because it's not 100% confirmed, but it's getting very close to being confirmed. The Motor City Machine Guns could possibly be signing with WWE. What's your thoughts on Motor City Machine Guns potentially coming to WWE?
So, first of all, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, right?
Yep, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
All right, I've been watching both in TNA, and I'm very aware of who they are. As the tag team, not very, but as singles competitors, yeah. Like I've seen a couple matches from each. Now they are like TNA's like bread and butter of tag teams, right? Like they fall kind of like in line with like the notable tag teams like the Hardys, Briscoes. I'm assuming have been there. Yeah, like fucking it's.
Also too they're at the top of the X division too.
Yeah,
that's probably where you know them.
Mm-hmm. So I think that again, especially this late in the game, they're both up there. I think Chris Sabin's like what in his mid 40s now, like mid 40s or something. So I mean, like they must have plans for this tag team. If that's the case, they must have plans. So I'm really excited to see what got them to sign with WWE because obviously when you get a contract, there's details in that motherfucker. So what's the details that got these guys who are technically at a very advanced age in their career to come over to WWE, which is very hectic, depending on what they're getting in their contract? What got them here? Because all of us, including myself, thought they were AEW bound. We
talked about that for months, about him going to AEW.
So what was the deciding factor? That's my real curiosity. I have no doubt that they're going to be able to hang with the likes of the Usos. They're going to be able to hang out with the likes of the Creed brothers. They're going to hang with fucking all of these amazing tag teams. But
DIY.
DIY, the new tag team champions. But why? What made it happen? That's where my curiosity really lies. I'm going to be asking myself that question this whole fucking segment.
And I think we're going to get the answers pretty soon because according to like all these reporters out here, it seems that it's confirmed but not confirmed at the same time. With Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, he posted a thing after like the 4th of July weekend, pretty much putting over indie wrestling. So a lot of speculations are that they may be signed with WWE. Also, Tommaso Ciampa, who's one half of DIY. He won the tag team champions with Johnny Wrestling last Friday on SmackDown, which was really cool. Wish it was on Money in the Bank because it would have been bigger, but it is what it is. They shared something about Motor City Machine Guns getting people talking. And I think that it's only a matter of time before this news comes out. That's why we say take it with a pinch of salt. We got to cover the news. We got to cover the rumors, and people are talking about it. I even thought they were going to be AEW bound, but when I sit back and I really think about it, Ben, I think the reason they signed with WWE is because all their friends, they all got opportunities in WWE. AJ Styles right now is still currently in WWE, won the championship. Samoa Joe had a run. Bobby Roode, who he's done a lot of stuff with. Even James Storm even had like a couple matches on NXT. So like a lot of these guys that they grew up with during the old TNA days, Even Abyss and PD Williams, they're producers for WWE right now. I think the Motor City Machine Guns, they have had it on their bucket list to at least do something with the WWE. And I think if there's a time and place, because timing is everything in this business, it's right now when things are hot. I think Triple H, I could see Motor City Machine Guns going to NXT because they are just trying to get a lot of noise over there, have them have some fun matches with them. But I really do want to see them on the main roster and give us some PLE classics. Like, that's one thing that kind of drives me nuts with this Triple H booking with the tag titles is if you go back to old NXT Black and Gold, the takeovers, DIY versus like the Revival, dude, like, why are we not getting these tag team classics on these pay-per-views, man? It's driving me nuts.
I got you.
Motor City Machine Guns could definitely bring something to the table.
Heck yeah.
And I think it's only a matter of time before this news comes out. And all the people that are coming at We Are Wrestling right now on social media, including our buddy, our pal, Danny, I can't wait for them to eat their words when the report comes out. WWE has signed the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley to a multi-year deal. It's going to happen. Just wait and see. It's pretty much planted at this point. Just nobody wants to come out and say it's happened.
I think they're going to be coming out randomly. I don't think they're going to announce it until after.
Exactly. I think
They
that.
make the debut and then boom.
And I'm going to say it right here. I think Sean Ross Sapp, I think PW Insider, Dave Meltzer, they all know the Motor City Machine Guns are showing up. The reason why they're being quiet about it, the reason why they're not talking about it is because right now WWE is mainstreaming. So I feel like with a lot of these returns and contract signings, they're keeping a lot of this stuff on the low because they know how like much WWE right now is mainstream. So like if it comes out as more of a surprise than just an article from Fightful, what's going to be bigger? Obviously having it as a surprise. So I think give it, I want to say maybe like after SummerSlam, Motor City Machine Guns are showing up.
Okay.
But I will say this, it's not 100% confirmed, all right? This is just me and Ben's hypothesis. It's our opinion. But, man, I can't wait to see what happens because I think WWE, they kind of need that just little spark in the tag division, and I think Motor City Machine Guns could do that. And I thought they were going to be that little spark for AEW, but I'm kind of glad it is WWE because they have busted their asses, bro, for years in the independents, years in TNA, even did some stuff for Ring of Honor, New Japan. So for them to get an opportunity with WWE, I'm very happy for them. They deserve it. But Ben, is there anything else before we close off this week's episode?
Now we got it in the bag, bro.
I think we definitely did. Just a reminder to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs, there is a new We Are Wrestling Extra where Ben and I, we talked about John Cena. In particular, we thought it was bigger than the podcast, so we kind of went over some fantasy booking scenarios and just talked about John Cena in that extra. I think it's a great conversation. Highly recommend checking it out. But to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered this week. Ben could potentially pick your comment for next week, but the only way that you can do that is comment down below. If you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Podcast, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to this on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download and follow us. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, over on the YouTube channel where you get the best pro wrestling content. We have some vlogs coming out. Hot Takes is coming back next week. Matches, all the good stuff. Subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Couple watch-alongs coming out in the beginning of August. You're not going to want to miss. Links down in the description box below. You can follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube pages. All that down below. Ben is doing live streams right now and doing music reactions. I'm doing toy videos every other day. But the only way you can check all that out is the links down in the description below. But, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.